1811 4000। यही कंज्यूमर हेल्पलाइन।
Hello, you're watching Pricey Pawar. I'm Jujhar Singh. Look at this, some statistics of it. The last 3 months, the price of wheat has gone up 15%, atta 17%, dals 10%, sugar 25%. We can go on and on over here. The point is that you have the Agriculture Minister Sharad Pawar who says, I'm not an astrologer who can predict when prices are going to be coming down. Should a cabinet minister be talking like this? Who's responsible for the price rise issue? What can be done about it? What's the outlook? That's what we're going to be talking about in this show. But in the meantime, the government is under pressure to explain the agriculture minister's comments on this price rise issue. The Cabinet Committee on Prices, meanwhile, which is to debate what to do about this very serious issue, has postponed its meeting from today to tomorrow, hopefully, to discuss it.
जो चीनी उत्तर प्रदेश की इंडस्ट्री ने लाई है रॉ शुगर, वो कांडला में पड़ी है पिछले 2 महीने से, क्योंकि उत्तर प्रदेश में उनको प्रोसेस करने के लिए इजाज़त मिल नहीं रही। हमने उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार को लिखा है।
Blame it on the states, blame it on the failed monsoon. The Aamdani is feeling the pinch.
It's not difficult for the political masters to understand that food is and will remain one of the basic necessities. The question that the people are asking now is, what right do these political masters have to stay in power if they can't even control the prices?
Prices have skyrocketed in the past 3 months. Food inflation stands at an all-time high of about 19%. Rice and wheat prices have gone up by over 15%. Sugar is selling at over 50 rupees a kilogram, and some pulses are touching 100 rupees per kilogram.
Inflation is giving many in Kolkata sleepless nights, with people wondering how much further to stretch their daily budgets to accommodate 2 square meals for their families.
Meanwhile, the Congress government in Maharashtra today announced some measures that bring relief to the people in the state. Sugar will be sold at 20 rupees a kilogram through the public distribution system. The state government will spend an additional 330 crore rupees to keep the prices of 5 essential commodities constant till March 2010.
It is just not the Aamdani. The affluent class is trying to cope up with the impact of the economic slowdown. The habitual spenders of this affluent class do admit that they think twice before spending. There has been a drop in the sales of leading retail outlets. The retail sector continues to be hard hit.
The Union Cabinet meets on Wednesday to discuss the matter. Bureau Report, NewsX.
All right, so why are food prices going through the roof? Who's responsible for this? And what's the outlook in the coming few months? To begin with, we are pleased to have with us Nalin Kohli, National Convener of the BJP Media Cell. He joins us from Faridabad. Mohammed Salim is member of the Central Committee of the CPIM. He joins us from Kolkata. And S.R.Khanna is the Managing Trustee of Consumer Voice. He joins us here in the studio. S.R.Khanna, let me begin with you. I mean, put this into context. How serious is the rise of prices that India is going through right now?
I think in the last few years, the price rise of consumer products, particularly food items, has been the steepest so far. And it appears structural changes are taking place in the demand patterns, in the supply patterns as well. And our policymakers and political parties are hooked on old solutions which were relevant 10 years ago. And the economic change that is taking place, which is pushing incomes of the bottom of the pyramid higher up, as incomes rise, more and more money is spent on food items.
Right.
That is additional disposable
It's the source of biggest expenditure for households, according to statistics, and it's the place where the prices are rising over here. Nalin Kohli, let me ask you, because, you know, Agriculture Minister Sharad Pawar said that he's not an astrologer. He can't predict when the prices are going to come down. I mean, do you think a cabinet minister should be making a statement like this?
Well, I think, it's a very interesting situation that we have here with regard to the UPA government. Even I think the Congress party from time to time has been feeling the pressure of prices because they've been elected on the Aamdani plank. And if I look at price rise, we should compare it from 2004 because the UPA is in power since then. And in some cases, it's as high as 100 or 150% over the last 5.5 odd years. and dal, sugar, all of them, we know the prices. Certainly, the Food Minister, Mr. Sharad Yadav, should not be making a comment like this. I think people are crying across the among the poor, among the old, the elderly, those who are on pension, and of course, the much touted Aam Aadmi. This is a clear case
but Nalin, I just want to stop you over there because, you know, yesterday your party leader Prakash Javadekar said that Sharad Pawar should resign after making that statement. Does the party still stand by that? Do you believe the Agriculture Minister ought to resign from his position
I mean,
now?
someone has to take... Let us talk about it. There are two parts here. There's an issue of moral responsibility and there's also an issue of responsibility towards the task that has to be done. You are simply just negating away price rise with just a simple comment like, I'm not an astrologer. In the first place, you're there to manage the country's food economy. And I was just coming to this point. Yes, the party stands by it. We've had a press conference by Mr. Rudy also that clearly was on price rise over the last 2 days. But the point I want to make very clearly
it's very easy for the BJP to say that the Agriculture Minister should resign over inflation, but remind me, when was the last time a BJP minister resigned because of inflation?
They never did. No minister.
Thank you very much, but this is not, yes,
not
this
just
is not
BJP,
a history
right?
lesson.
No minister in this country has ever resigned because of inflation, neither. And the BJP has also had inflation problems in the past. Correct, Nalin?
Yes, may I just answer that also? In terms of problems that we've had in terms of inflation, I think if we look at the NDA track record from 1998 to 2004, inflation was definitely under control. And if you only need to take out the facts, and you would know.
Yeah, but I remember in the late 1990s in Delhi when Sahib Singh Verma was your chief minister over here, and you remember what happened to the price of onions, and that was a very serious issue. He didn't resign. Your party booted him out.
Yes.
He didn't resign.
Yes, you're right. No, hold on.
Yeah.
Jujar, very rightly you put it out that in the price rise of onions in the 1990s, early 1990s, that was 15 years ago. Mrs. Sheila Dikshit is now in the government in Delhi since then. But if we want to go back, we can start discussing the problems from 1947. And we could discuss successively in each Congress government.
But Nalin, what I'm trying to say is that when you had a problem with Sahib Singh Verma, he did not resign. You didn't even, you had to boot him out. That's how you, and that's only because elections were coming up and you wanted a different phase, in order to lead you into the election.
Okay. So
basically, it's fresh for the BJP to ask for Sharad Pawar to resign over inflation.
Hang on, if I may just answer that completely. In the first place, the party took a decision. You call it booting it out. The party takes a decision in terms of how its people function. Can we see a decision coming from the UPA chairman or the Prime Minister about how he would like to deal with his cabinet colleagues who are passing comments in terms of I'm not an astrologer rather than ameliorating the problems of the common man?
Right. Okay, let's go back to now Mohammed Salim, leader of the CPM, who joins us. Mr. Salim, we've heard that the left front is having a joint rally against the government policies on inflation on March the 12th. The problem is happening now. Why are you rallying on March the 12th?
Jujar, actually, for last 6 months we are campaigning from the grassroots level, from the villages, marketplaces and the streets. And now we are having district level rallies everywhere. It's not that you are seeing only sitting in Delhi the March rally, that is Parliament session, during budget session. We are organizing this rally at the all India level, international level. But at that moment, today also I'm coming after addressing some rallies in the localities. So it's a nationwide campaign. And it's going to culminate. And because the price rise problem is not that, as Mr. Sharad Pawar earlier said, or the Prime Minister said, that next season it's okay. After monsoon it will be okay. Once winter is there, it will be okay. It's not that, it's the policy matters. Unless governments look afresh to the policy matters, they are only trying to tackle inflation through monetary policies, money supply, interest rate, CRR rate. But that's not the question. Your failure of the policies. You fail to protect the poor people. Most of the fuel and food prices going up. Inflation is pushed because of the fuel and food, where all these people are buying. And it's not true that because more money is there, that's why the price has gone up.
Yeah, Mr. Salim, you made some serious charges over there against the government. We're hoping to have a representative from the Congress party late in the program, so we will be putting these charges to her. But in the meantime, Sriram, let me ask you, the Congress says it's the party of the Aam Aadmi. How much is that amid suffering right now because of this rocketing food price inflation?
You see, all the consumers who have fixed incomes and who don't work for any government, they are getting the short end of the stick. every government employee, everybody whose pay is determined by the 6th Pay Commission, including state government and central government employees, they have no difficulty because they're getting DA and they're getting, you know...
Oh, but the prices are still going up for them as well.
But they have a cushion. But the short end of the stick is going to industrial workers, unorganized workers, daily wage workers, the rickshaw puller and the Aam Aadmi. He is angry. But I think what we need to understand is the gentlemen from the BJP and the CPIM are very quick to criticize the other guy. But do their parties have an inflation control policy that can work? And have they implemented that policy in the states where they are in power? Okay. You ask them, they have no policy at all.
No, I'll tell you what, Ms. Shira, I won't ask them, you ask them. Which one should we get first?
So
who do you want to address it to?
Let me ask, in the domain of...
Okay, first of all, who's your question addressed to? Is it to the BJP or the CPM?
To the BJP, which has more states controlled by the BJP.
Right, okay.
You have food ministers in every state. You have departments of civil supplies in every state. You tell me, why are the food grain prices and the vegetable and the fruit prices rising?
Nalin Kohli, please respond to that.
In their states.
Yeah, Nalin
because
Kohli,
they are not controlled by the central government.
Yeah, Nalin Kohli, respond to that, please.
Okay, thank you very much. I think first of all we need to understand that a food policy is a national policy. I'm going to answer this in clear detail. The second I want to talk about is the biggest hoarder. If you're talking about acting against people who are hoarding food grains in particular, the biggest hoarder in a sense is the large stocks that are with the government, whether it is rice, whether it is wheat. The government also recognized a year ago that we had enough stocks, according to the same food minister, of sugar. So we went in for massive exports of sugar, and then just about 6 to 8 months later we realized we have a great crisis and we imported at more than double the price the same sugar.
That is not about BJP
we need
policy.
to talk first of the policy.
That is about criticism,
which is easy to do. Let me finish. I'm coming to it. I'm coming. Let's talk about fruits and vegetables. So if we go by the same argument, I think it's become a vicious cycle. If I look at only Delhi, where we are speaking from in the studio, and I'm in Haryana, both of them have Congress governments. And in Delhi or in Haryana, the vegetable prices are still not cheaper than anywhere else.
I'm talking about Madhya Pradesh, I'm talking about Chhattisgarh, I'm talking about Karnataka. Have you a solution where the fruits and vegetable prices have come down? The prices are the same. You are blaming someone else for exactly what you're doing yourself. You have no solution yourself. How you can blame them? You can only criticize, and that's very easy. Words come cheap. You resign. It doesn't take anything more than 5 words. But where is your policy? Do you have a policy?
Mr. Sriram, of course, has decided to make this simply a political bashing point. But I think the fact of the matter, Mr. Sriram, remains
I'm not a politician.
That we are. No. I never called you a politician.
But Nalin, he put a straight question to you. You got to answer. I mean, his straight question to you is simple. The BJP is in power in Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Jharkhand also now. What is your food policy? What are you doing about inflation in those states?
So what is the rate of inflation
what has the BJP government... Okay, can we talk? If I can be allowed to speak, I'll try to answer some of these questions, some of them being a little illogical. But let me start talking about wheat. The BJP governments also give additional support price. You do not, but the national support price to wheat is about 10 rupees, whereas you are importing from foreign people, from foreign farmers, it's 17 rupees.
Fruits and vegetables. Let's come to
I also said about
fruits and vegetables.
Okay, shall we talk about fruits and vegetables also?
Please, let's come to the point.
Fruits and vegetable prices are also dependent on the transportation costs. With high fuel costs, they do not get any cheaper. They are also dependent on fertilizer costs. They are also not what you call absolutely at the lowest.
Fuel costs have not risen in the last 3 months.
Simply say
fuel costs have been static.
No, in fact, fuel prices have come down over the last 1 year, Nalin.
So this is not an argument. So that means you have not been able to even say what your party policy in inflation control is, leave alone implementing it in the state.
Hang on, I think that's a wrong charge. No, I think that's a very wrong charge, Mr. Sriram, because I think if you're talking of a policy of the government, you have to talk also with the central government, not against the state government. We should talk specifically about the central government.
I'm not defending the state government
when the BJP was in power. I want to finish my point. I think let's talk about prices, and let's talk specifically of fruits, vegetables, sugar, milk, ghee, atta, rice, any commodity of use that goes into anyone's stomach throughout the 6 years that the NDA was in power. Let's talk about the rate of inflation, which was not more than 4%, which went into double digits under an economist prime minister that we have here. Let's talk about any food minister under Mr. Atal Bihari Vajpayee.
That is not
the
your
BJP-led
policy.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Sriram and Nalin, I'll tell you what.
No, hold on.
All
I
right,
think this
I'll
is
tell you,
not
Nalin,
fair.
we'll just
If you
come
are
back to
making
you.
a comparison
Nalin,
of central
I'll tell you,
government,
you made a
no.
charge
So,
against,
okay.
you made a
If we are
charge against
talking
the
of
Prime
state
Minister
governments, hold
also
on, Jujar.
and the Congress Party. Nalin, we'll just come back to you. But we now also have in the program with us Jayanti Natarajan, Member of Parliament and National Spokesperson of the Congress. She joins us from Chennai. Mrs. Natarajan, it's a very serious issue, price rise. But your cabinet minister, Sharad Pawar, agriculture minister, says he's not an astrologer. He can't predict when the prices will come down. Should a cabinet minister be making a statement like this?
I think you're reading too much into his statement. I don't think he meant to offend anybody's sensibilities. I naturally speak for the Congress and not for the government. But I would take it in the spirit that he's not able to put an exact time frame, although all steps are being taken by government, whatever steps possible are being taken by the central government to try and bring the prices down. I think he meant it in that spirit, and nothing more should be read into it.
All right, Mohammed Salim, Sharad Pawar, in fact, has said that, prices are going to be rising even further, including of sugar. And a lot of people are saying that, why is he making a statement like this? Because it's encouraging hoarders, people who, hold on to their stocks and sell it later on when the prices do go up. Why do you believe Sharad Pawar is even making statements like this?
You are right in your statement. This is classic example is the sugar price rise. Pre-election, post-election, you have seen how the government itself and its ministers, through his utterances, have made the sugar barons to profit and the people to suffer.
And why do you think Sharad Pawar is making statements like this, Mr. Salim?
Yes, he made it in March before election. And the sugar, the share market price of the sugar factories, it went up. He made it in August when they said, and again it shoot up, and now he's making now, and this is going up. So twice and thrice things are going up. And when the question is there, what the left is doing, you see in Kerala and West Bengal, there is still government intervention, rationing system is there. We are, from our own pocket, the government is doing this 2 rupees kilo rice they are giving, they have included pulses and oils. The government of India did not do it, and for last 10 years we are saying unless you subsidize, the poor people cannot do it. And all these votaries of the reforms, they say no subsidy because there is no money. You can give subsidy to the Reliance company,
Mr.
but
Salim,
you
I'll tell you what, I'm sure later in this program.
You've not heard of the Antyodaya scheme? Have you not heard of the Antyodaya scheme under which 3 rupees the central government is giving subsidized rice to the states,
of rice, you have increased the price of rice.
Public distribution system and the wheat. No, excuse me, this is a political charge. No, this is being supplied to below poverty line people. So let's be very meticulously correct about the facts over here. The central government is supplying both rice and wheat at highly subsidized prices to the public distribution system in the states. And if the public distribution system is not strengthened, then there's no way that the below poverty line people can get the benefit of these subsidies. It's totally wrong to say that the central government has not done anything at all. The public distribution system squarely falls within the state government, and every state government has a primary responsibility to ensure that the public distribution system works properly in that state.
See, in this particular time, the public distribution system, wherever it works well, wherever it is monitored, wherever it is implemented properly, wherever the ministries of food and civil supplies have a rigorous hawk's eye on how the stocks move, the poor people, the BPL families, it is still a relief.
Whose responsibility is it to look after the public distribution system?
Entire public,
because the centre's blaming the states are blaming the centre.
The entire distribution of PDS shops is with the state governments. The central governments is confined to market operations, minimum support price, buying and stock. So let's be very clear.
Absolutely.
If there is any screw up,
Mr. Mohammed Salim, the basic point over here is that what they're saying is the responsibility is on your state governments. You are ruling, for example, West Bengal and Kerala. Is your responsibility. Don't pass the buck onto the central government in Delhi.
It's not a question of passing the buck. It's true that the maintenance of the public system is the responsibility of the state government, but allocation of food grains is by the central government. When the prices was going up, the government deliberately decided to curtail the allocations to the public distribution system and send it to the open market. The fact is saying, totally the parliament question reply is saying, and last 2 years the government did it to destroy the public distribution system, and NDA started this and UP is following the same formula.
It's on record. I'm sorry.
That's what you have done
wrong.
It deliberately.
It's wrong on record in Parliament. The Agriculture Minister has said that the off-take of the states, I'm sorry, the off-take of the states, including of West Bengal, is totally low. They do not, the off-take of the essential commodity, including rice and wheat supplied, is not even taken by the state governments. These are all facts which are on record in Parliament. So what Mr. Mohammed Salim is saying is simply not true.
Only
when
distribution
the
system is there in Kerala and Bengal, and the rest of the country you don't heard about the rationing system.
From the central government.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
You don't have
the
rationing system.
You have even in Delhi.
The allocations.
There are lakhs of BPL cards even in Delhi.
All right, I'll tell you what, let's just move this forward now. Jayanti Natarajan, let's go back to Agriculture Minister Sharad Pawar and the sugar industry, because, you know, sugar has seen the highest rise in the last 3 months, 25% rise in prices. You know, if you saw the Telegraph newspaper, January 9, it said that there's speculation even within your party, the Congress party, about Sharad Pawar's relationship with the sugar industry. In other words, does he have some vested interest? He's been making statements like prices will rise even further, and therefore the critics are saying that what he's saying is going to encourage hoarders. The point is even the Congress party now speculating on why Sharad Pawar is making these strange statements?
No, the Congress party is definitely not speculating on any such thing. The Congress party is leading a government in the centre which has taken steps where futures trading has been banned in sugar, where every possible step has been taken. You must remember that sugar, those who grow sugarcane, grow it cyclically. And if you had a good year, like we had 2 years ago, or last year, not exactly last year, but the time before that, then the price of sugar drops. Immediately the sugarcane farmers shift into some other crop because the price of sugar has dropped. And therefore this is something that is cyclical. And if the prices have gone up due to that, and if the Essential Commodities Act is properly applied, then the price of sugar is bound to come down. I think we need to look at a host of other factors.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Shriram, I just want to ask you, what's the danger that if food prices are not controlled, they spill over into manufactured products as well, and thereby severely compromising the recovery of the economy?
See, the retail inflation, when it has an impact on the family budgets, then those who are working in the industrial and the services sector begin to demand higher wages. And there is social unrest. We have not reached that point so far. But looking at the sugar prices, you know, one feels very angry. Because we believe that there are 18 lakh tons of the raw material lying in Kandla port. And one state government, particularly in UP, refuses for that material to go into processing. So if you know that there is a shortage, if there is a shortage of sugar, the demand is high, the supply is low, the only way you can meet that gap is by imports.
All right, I want to go back to Jayanti Natarajan from the Congress. Mrs. Natarajan, the Cabinet Committee on Prices was supposed to meet today to figure out how to deal with the problem of food prices. We believe the meeting has been put off. There's been no conclusion. Why has it got postponed, by the way?
No, I have no idea why about the cabinet. As I said, I speak for the party and not for the government.
Yeah, but because, I mean, this is a very serious issue. I mean, one would imagine the government would want to meet on this quickly to resolve the issue.
See, I have no difficulty if the meeting is
one day later. Well, I'm very sure they're seriously conscious of their responsibilities and no, but they're very conscious of their responsibility, and all steps that need to be taken will be taken by the government. I have absolute confidence that whatever needs to be done will be done.
All right, let's go to Nalin Kohli of the BJP. Nalin, you know, what do you say to Jayanti Natarajan that they're fully conscious and responsible for what they're doing, the UPA government? Of course, remember, this year, there are no elections happening except in Bihar in October. I mean, how much do you believe that maybe that's why the government, you know, some would say, is not being rather fast about dealing with this problem?
See, I think we need to move the politics out of it and just stick to the realities. And the realities are that prices have gone up significantly. And the proof of the pudding will only lie in eating it. I mean, if the government is serious about it, we should have a timeline roughly when are prices going to come down and will they come down at all? Whether it is for sugar, whether it is for other essential commodities that we've been talking about. So we have to just wait and see. The opposition parties on their part will keep on highlighting it as the BJP is planning and constantly raising this issue. And it's a matter of only time before people will on their own come onto the streets.
All right,
because their food is literally becoming very dear.
All right, okay, we've just got 2 minutes left, so quick, let's go very quickly to all our guests and find out. Let's begin with Sriram. What's the solution? The Cabinet Committee on Price is going to be meeting very soon to figure out the way forward. Very quickly, 20 seconds, what's this way forward?
See, I'm very clear that no government, either the central government or the state government, can completely control prices because these are economic forces. Supply will take time when crops come into the market. Demand is not going to go down. And if there is a gap, there is no quick fix for this.
All right.
I don't see, the government may take steps, state governments may join in, but they will have only a small marginal impact.
And you don't see the results? Okay.
Until the new crop comes into the market, and that is going to be in March and April.
All right.
I don't see the prices coming down.
Okay, very briefly, Mohammed Salim from the CPM. What can the government do? What's the CPM's big idea over here?
This is beyond this demand-supply question. Government has to first accept this challenge as a price rise because they are not accepting that. Secondly, addressing the economic issues. So you have to guarantee supply at a fixed price in the all India level of certain commodities which we do require essentially for all people. And then you don't divide these people, pure people among APL and BPL. Give this subsidized food through the public distribution system to everybody who needs it.
All right.
And unless
all right, Mr. Mohammed, I'm sorry, I'm going to interrupt you because we're in the last 30 seconds right now. Jayanti Natarajan, Nitish Kumar and Mamta Banerjee have both called for an all-party meeting to figure out the way forward. Is the government or the Congress also considering this as one political option forward?
Well, I don't know if an all-party meeting can actually directly address the issue as long as political differences and politics are brought to play. If everybody joins hands in this really serious effort, and if all steps are taken, we must remember that this has happened in the background of a global recession that happened until very recently. So everybody has to join, state and central governments, stop the blame game, don't politicize it, and put all steps into motion, certainly with government taking the prime responsibility and lead.
All right, food prices going through the roof. The Cabinet Committee on Prices will be meeting hopefully soon to figure a way out. But in the meantime, Jayanti Natarajan, Nalin Kohli, Mohammed Salim and Sriram Khanna, thank you all very much for joining us.